Hello, welcome to this Microsoft Excel lesson. I am your host and instructor, Ruben Herrera. And on this lesson, my friends, we are going to learn about Vlookups, okay? So what is a Vlookup? A Vlookup, my friends, stands for vertical lookup. We also have H lookup, which stands for horizontal lookups. And on a newer version of Excel, on Excel 2019 or 365, I believe we have now X lookups, which we may touch on that on a later lesson. But for right now, we're going to talk about choose Vlookups, which is the function that most of us professionals will ever need, or we use the most. Okay, very nice. Now, before we go, I want to explain how the VLOOKUP syntax works, and I have it right here for you. And then we're going to do a VLOOKUP right here. But before I do that, what I like to explain or what I like to do is, and I think this is worthy of being mentioned, is that you cannot just run a VLOOKUP on any kind of a spreadsheet. No, you cannot do that. In order for you to run a VLOOKUP successfully on your report, your VLOOKUP report or a spreadsheet needs to have certain criteria. Okay, just like with pivot tables. So on your VLOOKUP right here, VLOOKUPs are most of the times used for very large reports. Okay, whenever you have reports that have thousands, if not tens of thousands of rows, okay, or records. And on the example that I have right here is not very long, but it's long enough for what we need to do or for what we need to demonstrate on this class. Okay, also, so your report, going back to your report is to meet a certain criteria. You cannot choose run a VLOOKUP on any report. So this is what you must have on your spreadsheet before you can do a VLOOKUP. And if you don't, then you have to prep or you have to fix your report accordingly. Okay, number one, you can only to run VLOOKUPs, you can only have VLOOKUPs whenever you have, you can only run VLOOKUPs whenever you have reports with headers on the top. Okay, no row headers on the side, only headers on the top. Okay, also VLOOKUPs do not like merge cells. Remember, there's a function in Excel where we highlight a certain amount of cells right here, and then we can click right here on merge and center and it'll merge our cells. Well, no, we cannot have that on a report where we are planning to run a VLOOKUP. Okay, also it is okay to have an empty cell here or there. However, it is not good to have a gap in Excel. So what is a gap in Excel? A gap in Excel, it's a totally empty row or a totally empty column, because if not, your VLOOKUP is going to stop there, or it's going to think that that's the end of your report and it's going to stop there. So no empty rows or columns on your report. Also, your report, my friend, must be laid out in a way of block formatting or in a form of a block like this. Okay, so it needs to be, just columns straight like this with no gaps, no information here, no information here, no information here, no information here, all over the place. No. Also, whenever you're going to use a VLOOKUP, you're going to have to use a unique identifier to look or to tell the VLOOKUP what you're looking for. In this case, later on this example, we have a database of some laptop computers that we have on inventory. Well, this is made up information. We're going to look at our computer prices by the model number. This model number right here, it's, if you notice, we have a column right here for this model number. So this is going to be the unique identifier for our VLOOKUP that we're going to use to figure it out or to find out the price for each of these models right here. Whatever you're going to use it as a identifier for your VLOOKUP or to identify what you're looking for, this column right here cannot have duplicates. Okay, VLOOKUPs do not like duplicates. That is, if you're only looking for one thing. Later, we are going to do VLOOKUPs where we're going to have duplicates and we're going to see if some records are found or not, or compare or not. But that's going to be later at another lesson. Okay, but for right now, we need to know that whatever we're going to use to look for stuff in our VLOOKUP cannot have duplicates. So that being said, make sure that your information or that your spreadsheet is being prepped with this criteria that I just mentioned. Um, Make sure that you prep your information before you do a VLOOKUP, so that way you're gonna be able to run um, this function properly. Okay, that being said, let us go ahead and learn our VLOOKUP syntax. And here you go. Here I have this. Okay, so our VLOOKUP, the function VLOOKUP has four arguments, and I put the syntax right here for you, my friends. I color coded. I put the arguments on different colors just so that we can see the difference on the arguments, but the color do not mean anything, nor whenever we type our function, as you already know, these colors are not going to appear. This is just so that we can tell the difference. Okay, so for the first argument, for the first of the four arguments for our VLOOKUP is asking us, what is it that you are looking for? Okay, so what is it that you're looking for? Well, in the case of this report right here, this is what I have. I have some laptops, computers inventory that I have on the storage, and I want to find out what the price of those computers are. Should I want to sell them or bill them to a department or to a client? And I want to know the price by the model number. Okay, very nice. Now, one can say, and I have this said before, some student says, well, Ruben, you can always use right here, find and replace, it's so much easier. Well, yes, you can when you have a small report like this, but pretending that you have a report with a few tens of thousands of rows or records, a VLOOKUP is a lot more faster and a lot more efficient. This little function right here uses a lot of RAM on your computer, and you may get the little circle of death in Windows if you have such a report long like that. But anyways, that's for another topic. So on the first argument is asking me, what is it that my VLOOKUP is looking for? Okay, very nice. So I'm looking for the price. However, I need to look up the price by the model number, which is the unique identifier for the information, or for the computers and for the information that I'm looking for. The second argument that VLOOKUP is asking us, where is the database? Where, now that you tell me what you're looking for, where is the database? Where do you want me to go out and look for it? Well, it's right here. Very nice. VLOOKUPs are very good at finding needles on haystacks. Okay, that's why VLOOKUPs are so famous. Also to compare reports. The third argument is the column number. Okay, so my friends, VLOOKUPs always, and it will always work from top to bottom, left to right. So in this case, in the case of this report, the VLOOKUP is going to look for our price, but it's going to look it up by the model number. Okay, we're going to do this later. Once it finds the model number that we tell the VLOOKUP to look for, it's going to run to the right. Okay, but at one point, this VLOOKUP has to stop, and it's going to stop in the column where we have the information that we want the VLOOKUP to retrieve. In this case, is the price. So the column number for this report is going to be number 4. Okay, it doesn't have to be always number 4, and we're going to learn that later in our next example. But for right now, this is the column where that we want our VLOOKUP to stop and retrieve the information that we're really looking for. On the last and fourth argument of the VLOOKUP, the VLOOKUP is going to ask me, okay, do you want me to look an exact or an approximate find? So do you want me to go out and look exactly what you're looking for, or if and that's it, or if I don't find exactly what you're looking for, do you want me to do an approximate match? So something next, like for example, I'm looking for this model right here, D550MA130. I don't have it, but the next closest model will be this one right here, the 125 model. So the VLOOKUP also, we have the option with the VLOOKUP to do an exact match, an exact find, or an approximate match or find. Okay, very nice, my friends. And this is how we understand And this is how the VLOOKUP works and process our data. Okay. This being said, let us go ahead and start working in our VLOOKUP. Okay. All right, my friends, let us go ahead and go ahead and do our VLOOKUP. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit for you so that you can see better. Very nice. So this is where I'm gonna type in the model number of the computer that I'm looking for, and I'm gonna this is gonna be like a little search box, and then the price is gonna magically appear in here. So this is where all the action is gonna happen, and this is where I'm gonna type my VLOOKUP. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the equal sign, obviously, and then I'm gonna type VLOOKUP like this. Very nice. Tab to insert my VLOOKUP. Notice, my friends, that I also have right here that syntax with the correct wording. And it's right here on this screen tip. And if this is getting on my nerves, I can also move this away. Yet I'm gonna leave it somewhere where I can see it so that I can see the order on which I have to type in the arguments on my VLOOKUP, and this way I never have to remember them. Okay, my first argument, what I'm looking for, what I'm looking for, I'm gonna type it right here. Boom, very nice. Comma. My second argument, where is my database? Okay, right here, the table array. So my database is this right here. So I'm going to highlight the columns, and I'm going to start highlighting the columns always from the column that contains the lookup value or what I'm looking for, or the lookup reference for what I'm looking for. If the model number was, for example, right here on column B, then I will start highlighting from column B. If the model number was right here on column C, then I will start highlighting from column C. Now remember, the information that I want to retrieve, my friends, is always has to be to the right of that lookup value that I'm gonna use, okay, to retrieve the information that I'm looking for. In this case, it's the model number, so I'm gonna start from the model number. It is just a coincidence that is actually that I have to highlight my whole database, okay, comma. Now, my third argument, what is the column index number, or the column where the number column where I want Excel or my VLOOKUP to stop and retrieve the information that I'm looking for. It's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Very nice, 4 right there. And yes, I understand it's very easy and it's very easy to think, well, why doesn't the VLOOKUP or Excel ask us instead of the column number? Why can't we just put D as the column, you know? Well, I don't know why. That's a good question for the Microsoft development team. But I'm just going to leave it like this. So a column index number is 4, comma, do I want a true or an approximate match? True or false? Approximate match for true, exact match for false. So I'm always most of the times whenever I'm running a VLOOKUP, it's because I want to find something exactly, like I want to exactly find what I'm looking for, not something approximate. Later in this course, we're going to learn how to do a VLOOKUP with an approximate match, but we're going to do that later. Okay, so right now I'm just going to do this. It's going to be false. Okay, now for the geeks, you can use true or false, or you can use 1 and 0. 1 for true or 0 for false. This is so that you can be more efficient or type less. All I do is I like to use the autocomplete function, and I'm just going to press the tab key. There you go, false. Close my parentheses, and this is my VLOOKUP now. Very nice, very small, very geeky, but yet very powerful function. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and press enter and take this for the test drive. Boom, not available. Of course, I have an error, a not available error, because I have not typed anything in here yet. So let us pretend that I'm going to look for a model of computer that is down this column right here. I'm going to call Inspiron. Oh, I need to know how I need to spell it corrected. And I'm going to put just a model number 1545. Enter. There you go. Boom. There is the price for the Inspiron or Inspiron, I'm sorry, 1545. By the way, VLOOKUPs, my friends, are not case sensitive. So you can type your information with upper or lower case, and the information is there and is spelled correctly, or at least spelled the same way is on the column that has the lookup value is going to appear. I mean, the result is going to appear. I'm gonna go ahead and do another model right here that is close by, just so we can verify that we entered the correct model and it's giving us the correct price. I'm gonna do D 550 MA115. That's an Asus computer. Boom, there you go, $405. Very nice. Now let us go ahead and put some kind of something else name, model number. There you go. You see that? It does not exist. I get a not available. Very nice, my friends. Let us go ahead and try. Well, let me go ahead and show you right here. This is what my VLOOKUP looks like again. Okay, one more time for you. Very small, very geeky, but very powerful function, and yet you guys understand what this function is going to do for you, because we already went over this syntax and you guys are awesome. Okay, let us look at our next example right here. Okay, in our next example right here, I have the same database. Okay, I have the same models of number, but this time I want to look at the price. I want to find out what is the price for these computers, but this time I want to look at the price by the serial number. Okay, so very nice. Remember, always whatever information you want to retrieve needs to be to the right of your lookup value. So let us now go ahead and do a VLOOKUP right here, where our price is going to be it's going to appear right here, but this time we're going to look it up by the serial number and not by the model number like we did it earlier. Okay, so my VLOOKUP is going to go in here. Let us go ahead and do our function equals VLOOKUP tab. Very nice. The lookup value is going to be right here, first argument right there, comma, my table array. Remember, I'm going to start, this is all my database. However, I only going to start selecting my database from my lookup value, which is, in this case, is the serial number. So it's going to be just this right here. This is a very tricky part of the database, of our VLOOKUP database, that is. Okay, very nice. There's not really a rule that tell us how much or how many columns do we supposed to select in our database for a VLOOKUP. The only thing that we know is that the first column, whatever is the first column of the database that we're going to select, needs to be the lookup value or the lookup reference that we're going to use for the information that we want to retrieve. Okay, very nice. Comma, my third argument, the column index number. Now this is tricky. It's not the fourth column anymore. It's only counting. We're going to count the columns only from the selected database. So in this case, it's 1 and 2. So I'm going to put 2 right there, comma. Do I want an approximate or an exact match? Well, it's going to be an exact match, so it's going to be false. Very nice. I'm going to close my parentheses, and there you go. There is my VLOOKUP. Very small, very geeky, very powerful, but you guys understand what this is going to do. Let me go ahead and take this for a test drive and make sure that I'm not giving you guys the wrong information. There you go, not available. Now I'm going to put a serial number in here. I'm sorry. So I'm going to put 102.890. Enter. There you go. That's a $400 computer, and it looks like it was an Asus computer. Very nice. It works. Let me just put a not number now. The number doesn't exist there. Boom, not available. Very nice. So this is our second example right here of a VLOOKUP. I have one more example for you, my friends, for this lesson. Let us go ahead and put that in practice. Very nice. So I'm going to go ahead and do, there you go. In our next example, my friends, we are going to use a VLOOKUP, the same VLOOKUP that we did on the very first example. We're going to use a VLOOKUP. We're going to do a VLOOKUP, I'm sorry, where we're going to retrieve the price by the model number. But this time we're going to use another function along with the VLOOKUP that is called the if error function. The if error function is a function in Excel that will allow us to have a custom error message should we have a error in our VLOOKUP. The if error function only has two arguments. The first argument is the operation. The second argument is the custom message. Okay, so let us go ahead and do this. We're going to do our VLOOKUP first, which you guys already should know how to do because we did it on the first lesson. Okay, VLOOKUP. Remember, I want to retrieve the price by the model number, the lookup value, or what I'm looking for. I'm going to type it right here, comma. My table array is going to be this right here, comma. My column index number is going to be 4, comma, and this is going to be false or an exact match. Notice that I pressed the tab key. Oops. 4, comma. Oops. I think I know what I'm doing. False right there. Notice that I like to use the autocomplete function a lot. At this time I use the arrow keys and then I press the tab key to insert whatever option I highlight on the autocomplete function. Close my parentheses. There you go. So that's my VLOOKUP, and I'm gonna go ahead and take this for a test drive. I'm gonna press enter. Boom, there you go. I have this ugly not available error. But what if I can, instead of having this, I can have something like, please insert correct model number, or put sort of like a sign in there that tells me, that will tell whoever I'm doing this report with that, hey, you're supposed to put a model number in here. So for this, my friends, I'm going to use the if error function and I'm going to nest it outside of my VLOOKUP. All right, my friends, remember that my VLOOKUP function, this is going to be the first argument of my if error function. My if error function has two arguments. The first argument is going to be my VLOOKUP. So I'm going to do something like if error right there. If error, and my first argument for the if error function is going to be my VLOOKUP. Now, comma. Now, if there is an error on my VLOOKUP, my second argument, I'm going to tell Excel to put, and I'm going to get a little fancy. I'm going to put like greater than, and then two equal signs, and I'm going to put right here, insert model number. And I'm going to put this inside of double quotations, my friends, because remember, I'm just going to put one equal sign. So I'm going to put this inside of, or type this inside of double quotations, my friends, because remember, whenever I want Excel to type or to insert some text for me, I need to put it inside, I need to place it inside of double quotations. I'm gonna go ahead and take this for the test drive, make sure that I did this correct. That is my function, my friends. It's started to look very geeky, one function inside of another function, but you guys are experts now. Okay, let us go ahead and do this. Enter. There you go. Ooh, very nice. Insert model number right there. Yay! So I'm gonna go ahead and insert my model number, and just for kicks, I'm just gonna insert this first one just to prove, make sure that my VLOOKUP is working correctly. My 50, enter. Very nice. It works. Yay! And the minute I delete something, or I put in the wrong number, the wrong model number, like some to that. There you go. Insert model number. It's not giving me anything because I'm not inserting yet a model number yet. Okay, I'm gonna put MS for Microsoft. Doesn't work. I need to put the correct model number in order for this to work. Okay, very nice, my friends. Here is my function right here one more time for you. Okay, so that you can see it, you can look at it, embrace it, and love it. And I want to thank you so much for being on this lesson. I want to give a shout out to my Excel 3 advanced students from North Lake Community College in Irving, Texas. You guys are great and my inspiration for doing this. Thank you so much, everyone else, and have a great day. Bye-bye.